How to recognize the core themes of your life. There are moments in life where the details change, but the experience feels strangely familiar. A relationship ends, and it looks like the issue was that person. A job becomes unbearable, and it looks like the issue was that place. A friendship gets weird, and it looks like the issue was that dynamic. A family conversation goes sideways, and it looks like the issue was the exact words someone used, the tone, the timing, the facial expression, the text message, the silence after the text message, or the fact that someone replied with K, which honestly should probably be classified as emotional vandalism. But then time passes. The person changes. The room changes. The situation changes. The details change. And somehow the same inner experience returns. The same pressure point. The same role. The same reaction. The same question. The same feeling of, why am I here again? That is where this class begins. Because in Altus, we are not only looking at the surface event, we are looking at the structure underneath the event. A life theme is not the thing that happened. A life theme is the deeper pattern moving through what happened. It is the repeated exploration underneath the circumstances. It is the question your life keeps bringing forward. It is the quality being developed. It is the contrast that keeps showing you where your state, beliefs, definitions, and choices are asking to become more conscious. This is important because your life is not just a random collection of events. There is a structure to it. There are patterns. There are repetitions. There are themes. And those themes are not punishments. They are not labels. They are not proof that something is wrong with you. They are not personality types with better lighting. They are chosen explorations. A chosen exploration does not mean your human personality sat down and consciously selected every painful detail. It means that at a deeper level, your life carries certain themes of development, reflection, expansion, and self-recognition. The physical details are the classroom. The theme is the lesson underneath the classroom. The event may be, my relationship ended. But the deeper exploration may be self-worth, expression, autonomy, discernment, or choosing yourself without needing the other person to become different first. The event may be, I feel stuck in my work. But the deeper exploration may be direction, value, creative permission, confidence, contribution, or whether your daily life actually matches who you are becoming. The event may be, my family does not understand me, but the deeper exploration may be voice, identity, freedom, self-definition, and the ability to stay clear even when your clarity is not being mirrored back to you. The event is the surface. The theme is the structure underneath the surface. And the surface can be extremely distracting. The surface has names. The surface has dates. The surface has screenshots. The surface has tone of voice. The surface has the conversation you replayed 47 times while pretending you were just thinking. The surface has the social media post that was definitely not about you, except somehow your entire nervous system filed a report. The surface gets loud, but the theme is quieter. The theme asks better questions. Like, what is repeating here? What state am I in when this pattern appears? What belief is being revealed? What definition am I giving this situation? What is this reflecting back to me? What choice becomes available when I stop fighting the surface and start reading the structure? That is the purpose of this life theme class. It helps you stop treating every repeated experience as a brand new disaster. It gives you a way to recognize the pattern underneath the pattern. Not so you can stay trapped in your past. Not so you can make pain your identity. Not so you can turn your life into an aesthetic slideshow of emotional damage. The point is recognition. Because once the structure is visible, the next step becomes cleaner. Life themes matter because the same exploration rarely appears only once. It returns. Not because life is punishing you. Not because you failed the first time. Not because the universe is sitting somewhere with a clipboard saying, let's run that lesson again, but make it more annoying. It returns because unconscious patterns repeat until they become conscious. A person may leave one relationship and enter another, only to discover the same emotional dynamic in a new outfit. A person may leave one job and take another, only to meet the same issue with authority, value, voice, or direction. A person may move to a new city, change the scenery, change the people, change the schedule, change the wardrobe, change the entire new me folder, and still carry the same internal structure into the next chapter. That is why changing the outside does not always change the pattern. Sometimes the scenery changed, but the state did not. Sometimes the people changed, but the role stayed the same. Sometimes the circumstances changed, but the definition underneath them remained untouched. This is where Altus asks you to slow down and look more cleanly. Not at the drama, at the structure, because the structure is where choice becomes available. The first clue is usually found in the beginning. Not because the beginning defines you. It does not. Your childhood is not your identity. Your family system is not your destiny. Your early experiences are not the final authority on who you are. But the beginning often introduces the first language of the theme. It shows the opening environment. It shows the first contrast. It shows what your system had to notice before you had words for it. So instead of asking, "What was wrong with the beginning?" ask, "What did the beginning make me aware of?" That question is cleaner. For instance, if you were born into instability, your early theme may have introduced itself through the search for grounding, regulation, internal steadiness, or a stable center inside changing conditions. If you were born into control, your early theme may have introduced itself through freedom, autonomy, boundaries, and self-direction. If you were born into emotional confusion, your early theme may have introduced itself through clarity, perception, truth, and the ability to know what is yours. If your voice was not received, your early theme may have introduced itself through expression, visibility, and the need to speak without shrinking. If you were born into limitation, your early theme may have introduced itself through adaptation, resilience, expansion, and the question of what remains possible. This is not about blaming the beginning. And no, it's not about karma. It is about reading the setup. The beginning is not the whole map, but it may show the first symbols, and those symbols often return later in more complex forms. The child who had to read the room may become the adult who sees patterns quickly. The child who had to stay quiet may become the adult whose entire life circles around voice. The child who had to adapt may become the adult who understands systems, survival, and transformation from the inside. The beginning does not own you, but it may contain information. The second clue is repetition. This is where the life theme map starts becoming visible. A theme usually does not repeat in the exact same form. It changes costume. One time it looks like dating. Another time it looks like work. Another time it looks like family, or money, or friendship. Another time it looks like your relationship with your own body, your own time, your own choices, or future. The form changes. The structure repeats. That is the clue. You may keep finding yourself in situations where you feel unseen. You may keep losing your voice around strong personalities. You may keep carrying responsibility that was never assigned to you but somehow ended up on your back anyway. You may keep shrinking inside environments where your freedom feels limited. You may keep waiting for permission from people who do not even understand the thing you are asking permission to become. You may keep becoming the stabilizer, the translator, the fixer, the performer, the one who over-explains, the one who leaves early, the one who stays too long, or the one who knows the truth but delays acting on it. At first, these situations look separate, but if you remove the names, dates, places, and details, the same structure may be underneath them. That is the move. Do not only ask, "Why does this keep happening?" Ask, "What is the same underneath these different experiences?" That question turns the event into information. It moves you from reaction into recognition. And recognition is where the pattern starts losing its grip. The third clue is emotional charge. This is the part where your system points with a highlighter, and not a cute little pastel highlighter, but a fat construction highlighter, a neon sign, a full alert. Something happens, and the reaction is immediate. Someone dismisses you, someone misunderstands you, or interrupts you, or tells you what you should do. Someone gives you a vague answer, or disappears, criticizes your work, or acts like your reality is optional. And suddenly, it is not just about that moment. It feels bigger. The reaction has history in it. That does not mean the reaction is wrong. It also does not mean the reaction is the whole truth. It means something has been touched. So instead of judging the reaction, read it. If being dismissed creates a strong charge, the theme may involve voice, visibility, or self-respect. If being controlled creates a strong charge, the theme may involve freedom, autonomy, or personal authority. If being misunderstood creates a strong charge, the theme may involve clarity, expression, or self-definition. If instability creates a strong charge, the theme may involve grounding, regulation, or internal steadiness. If criticism creates a strong charge, the theme may involve worth, permission, competence, or confidence. The emotional charge is not the enemy, it is information. The cleaner question is, what theme is being touched? Then go one layer deeper. What would I have to believe this means in order to react this strongly? That question matters because experience is shaped through meaning. The circumstance may be neutral, but the definition you give it is not neutral. Your definition activates the state. The state shapes the response reinforces the pattern. So if the definition changes, the whole structure can begin to change. That is why emotional charge is useful. It shows you where a definition is active. And once you can see the definition, you can choose whether it still belongs to the person you are becoming. The fourth clue is fascination. This is where the map gets less heavy. Because your life themes are not only found in pain, they are also found in what keeps calling your attention. What do you keep studying? What do you keep researching? What do you keep returning to when no one is making you care? What subject has followed you for years? What topic makes you feel more awake? What do you naturally explain, organize, build, question, or create? Your attention is not random. The subjects that keep pulling you back may be connected to what you are here to understand, translate, embody, or offer. A lifelong pull toward psychology may point toward healing, behavior, perception, or transformation. A lifelong pull toward spirituality may point toward meaning, consciousness, purpose, or reality. Or toward art may point toward expression, beauty, emotion, identity, or translation. Or toward systems may point toward structure, pattern recognition, design, order, or usefulness. A lifelong pull toward nature may point toward rhythm, simplicity, connection, and balance. This part matters because it keeps the map from becoming a wound inventory. Your fascination is not separate from your theme. It may be the clearest part of it. The pattern shows what is asking to become conscious. The charge shows where meaning is activated. The fascination shows where energy naturally gathers. So ask, what keeps calling me back? Not what performs well online. Not what sounds impressive. Not what other people validate. What keeps calling you back? That answer belongs on the map. The fifth clue is the role other people keep inviting you to play. Other people do not define your theme, but your interactions with them can reflect it. Look at what people consistently come to you for. Do they come to you for clarity? Do they come to you when things fall apart? Or because you can name the thing everyone is avoiding? Or because you can organize chaos? Do they come to you because you make complex things easier to understand? Or because you stay steady when the room is spinning? This does not mean you owe people unlimited access. It does not mean every role placed on you is healthy. It means the role contains information. Sometimes people recognize an aligned function in you before you have fully named it. Sometimes they are responding to an old survival pattern you are ready to retire. If people come to you for clarity, your theme may involve perception, teaching, or translation. If people come to you during chaos, your theme may involve structure, stabilization, or leadership. If they come for honesty, your theme may involve truth, discernment, or authenticity. Or emotional support, your theme may involve presence, care, or healing. But the distinction matters. Being clear is a gift. Over-explaining to be accepted is a pattern. Being steady is a gift. Becoming responsible for everyone else's regulation is a pattern. Being supportive is a gift. Having no boundary between care and self-abandonment is a pattern. So the question is not only, what do people come to me for? The deeper question is this role aligned, distorted, or outdated? That question shows where your gift and your survival strategy may have become tangled. And once you can see the difference, you can choose the role more consciously. The sixth clue is who you have become. This is where the map starts to organize backward. Look at your life and ask, what did my experiences require me to develop? Not because pain is automatically meaningful. Not because every hard chapter was necessary. Not because suffering needs to be decorated, but because your life did develop certain capacities. Years of adversity may have developed endurance, adaptability, and strength. Years of being misunderstood may have developed clarity, language, and self-definition. Years of isolation may have developed independence, inner listening, and discernment. Years of caregiving may have developed compassion, responsibility, and emotional intelligence. Years of instability may have developed awareness, pattern recognition, and the ability to detect shifts quickly. This is not about making the past sound better than it was. It is about extracting the usable information. The question is not, was it worth it? The question is, what did it build in me? That answer often points directly to the theme. Because sometimes the theme is not only what happened to you. Sometimes the theme is what your life kept training you to become. The seventh clue is fear. Fear often stands near the doorway of a life theme. Not because fear is the truth. Not because fear deserves to drive. Not because every fear needs a microphone and a 5-part documentary series. Fear is a signal. It shows where a belief, definition, or old protective structure is active. What do you fear losing? What do you fear becoming? What do you fear people seeing? What do you fear would happen if you move toward the life that actually feels aligned? Fear of being seen may point toward visibility, expression, and truth. Fear of being trapped may point toward freedom, movement, and choice. Fear of being wrong may point toward permission, confidence, and self-direction. Fear of failure may point toward worth, competence, and action. Fear of rejection may point toward self-acceptance, belonging, and inner stability. The fear is not the theme. It is guarding the theme. So do not only ask, what am I afraid of? Ask, what belief is this fear protecting? And then ask, is that belief still true for the person I am becoming? That is where choice enters. Because the fear may be old. The definition may be old. The role may be old. The current moment may not require the same response. The eighth clue is the question that never leaves you. There is often one question underneath the entire life. It may not be polished. It may not be something you say out loud. It may not sound dramatic, but it keeps returning. What is freedom? What is real? What is my purpose? What does it mean to be myself? How do people heal? Why do systems break? What does it mean to belong? How do I build a life that actually matches me? A lifelong question is one of the strongest clues to a life theme. If your question is, what is freedom? The theme may involve autonomy, truth, movement, and self-direction. If your question is, what is real? The theme may involve perception, consciousness, and reality. Or, what is my purpose? The theme may involve contribution, expression, direction, and meaning. Or, how do people heal? The theme may involve transformation, integration, care, and service. If your question is, why do I feel different? The theme may involve authenticity, self-recognition, and belonging. The question that keeps returning is not random. It shapes what you notice. It shapes what you study. It shapes what you build. It shapes who you become. So ask, what question has followed me for years? Then ask, what kind of person have I become by living with that question? That answer belongs on the map. The ninth clue is aliveness. This is essential, because if you only look at pain, the map will be incomplete. Your life theme is not only found in what hurts, it is also found in what lights you up, what gives you energy, what makes time disappear. What makes you feel clear? What makes you feel present? What makes you feel more like yourself? What feels like a clean yes? Not the people-pleasing yes, not the panic yes, not the everyone else is doing this, so I should probably force myself into it yes, but the real yes, the yes with energy in it. Teaching may point toward communication, translation, leadership, or contribution. Creating art may point toward expression, beauty, emotion, or identity. Helping others may point toward service, healing, care, or connection. Exploring new places may point toward freedom, discovery, expansion, or adventure. Building something useful may point toward structure, design, order, or problem solving. Aliveness shows direction. Pain shows contrast. Charge shows where meaning is activated. Fear shows where an old belief may be standing guard. Aliveness shows where your energy wants to organize. So ask, when do I feel most engaged with life? That answer may be just as important as the wound. The 10th clue is intrinsic direction. Ask yourself, what would I still do even if no one paid me? This is not about rejecting money. This is not about turning your life into unpaid labor. This is not about pretending support does not matter. It does. The question is about what continues to matter, even when there is no external reward. What would you still study, create, protect? What would you still teach, still build, or still care about? A real theme does not always arrive with applause. It may not be popular. It may not be convenient. It may not make immediate sense to everyone around you, but it keeps calling your attention. That call is information. Not every interest has to become a business. Not every gift has to become content. Not every realization has to become a brand. But the pull matters. The repeated attention matters. The clean yes matters. Your energy is part of the map. So now the pieces begin to come together. You are not looking for one perfect word. You are looking for the pattern of the whole system. What was introduced early? What keeps repeating? What carries charge? What keeps calling your attention? What role keeps appearing? What have you become? What fear guards the doorway? What question never leaves you? What makes you feel alive? What still matters without external reward? When you place those answers together, certain themes may begin to rise. Not as a list to memorize, as a pattern to recognize. You may see freedom and expression running together. You may see truth and visibility, or creativity and contribution, or purpose and direction. You may see structure and service. You may see expansion and self-definition, or authenticity and courage. The cluster matters more than the perfect word. A theme is not an excuse. It is a map. It does not give you permission to avoid life. It gives you a way to participate more consciously. So here's the final Altus question. If I removed the names, the places, the dates, the drama, and the specific storyline, what core exploration would still remain? Not only what happened, what was the pattern? Not only who was involved, what did it reflect? Not only how painful was it, what did it reveal? Not only what went wrong, what choice becomes available now? That is the shift. You stop using the story as a cage. You start using the story as a map. And once the map is visible, the next step becomes cleaner. Feel free to download the free PDF worksheet, link in the description. Here is the practice. Take one page and divide it into 5 sections. The pattern, the charge, the question, the aliveness, the repeating role. Under the pattern, write what keeps showing up in different forms. Under the charge, write what creates the strongest reaction. Under the question, write what you have been trying to understand for years. Under the aliveness, write what makes you feel clear, present, and engaged. Under the repeating role, write who you keep becoming in different situations. Do not make it perfect. Do not make it inspirational. Do not turn it into a performance. Just write what is true. Then read the page and look for the thread. What keeps appearing? What words belong together? What is the deeper exploration underneath the details? That is the beginning of your life theme map. Not a prison, not a personality label, not a diagnosis, a map, a way to see what your life has been showing you through repetition, contrast, desire, charge, reflection, and direction. Once you can see the map, you can participate more consciously. You can choose your state. You can question the belief. You can redefine the circumstance. You can follow what feels alive. You can stop bringing the old role into every new scene. You can move differently. That is the point. And this is why Altus works the way it does. Wisdom shared is wisdom multiplied. The map is public. The structure is shared. The teaching and framework are here. And if you need support, the one-on-one session is where we apply it directly to your life. So if this class helped you recognize a pattern and you want help seeing your own life theme map more clearly, you can book a one-on-one Altus session through the link below in the description. In that session, we look at your repeating patterns, your emotional charge, your recurring question, your aliveness, your current crossroads, and the deeper structure underneath what keeps happening. You do not need to arrive with everything figured out. Bring the pattern. Bring the question. Bring the part of your life that keeps repeating. Bring the thing you keep asking. Why is this still here? We will use the Altus framework to organize it into something clearer, calmer, and more workable. Because once the structure is visible, the next step becomes cleaner. And that is the work. We are not using the past to stay trapped in the past. We are using the pattern to reveal the structure. Structure reveals itself when distortion is removed. Stay stable. Pay attention. Reality is speaking.